Let's have a little coffee chat today, or not. Grab your favorite brew, bulletproof, black, espresso, decaf, or maybe just hot water with lemon. Absolutely no judgment here. Well, maybe a little, because the big question is coffee actually carnivore? I'm Jackie Elmer. Grab my simple carnivore grocery shopping list and my lower toxic life hacks at lowertoxiclife.com. Drop me a comment below and let me know, coffee or no coffee for you. So back to the big question, is coffee carnivore? Well, technically, no, it is not. Coffee comes from a plant, so it's not animal based, right? Actually, it's a seed, and purists will tell you flat out, nope, not carnivore. Now, notice I said that it's a seed and not technically a bean. I know we hear all the time about, our coffee beans and roasting them and all the whole process of it. But the reality of it is it's not really a bean, it's a seed. So here's the thing, like most things in life, it's not simply black or white regarding coffee, unless we're talking about how you take your coffee. And then it's either very black or very creamy. Let me just tell you a quick personal story. I've never been a true coffee drinker. I didn't grow up drinking coffee. I didn't drink coffee all the way through most of my adult years, having children, any of that. I don't even like plain black coffee. It's bitter bean water, seriously, actually seed water. So it's a hard pass for me. But then along came Dave Asprey a few years ago and his bulletproof coffee craze. And if you're familiar with Dave Asprey, he's a body hacker, a biohacker. He's lost hundreds of pounds and, just really completely turned his life around from being a mess of chronic illnesses, pain, inflammation, extremely overweight, but always very, very smart. Comes from Silicon Valley, was a tech guy and all of that, and just really decided one day he was going to change things. What he did though is he began to, with his bulletproof coffee craze, he began to blend grass-fed butter, cream, electrolytes, all of that, and discovered this process about how it could help you with fasting, with weight loss, with brain focus, and eliminating brain fog and so much of that. And all of a sudden, it didn't really sound like coffee anymore. And it was kind of one of those things where I kept hearing him on his podcast. And then one day I was actually in Scottsdale and I was doing cryotherapy, the cold therapy, and I was sitting in the waiting room and I looked down and there was the Bulletproof recipe book or Bulletproof cookbook or something like that. And I picked it up and I started flipping through it. And dang, if I didn't turn right to the very first recipe being Bulletproof coffee. And I thought, okay, this is a sign from the universe. What do I have to lose by giving it a try? So I went home, I brewed a cup of coffee, and I added in the butter, I added in the cream, and then I looked in the cabinet and I added in a little bit of cinnamon and gave it a shot, literally shot it. And it wasn't bad. And I thought, wow. And I could immediately feel like this Zen feeling come over me, the butter, all of it assimilating into my body, and it felt really good. And I thought, okay, over time, I completely changed it all up, started drinking it with a lot of foo-foo things. I used to add in cacao powder, cinnamon, collagen, and often a scoop of almond butter until I realized that I was giving my body seriously a daily overdose of oxalates in my morning joe. So I quit that. But today I will enjoy my coffee. I will add in some electrolytes, just plain. Sometimes I use the Relight brand that do have a little bit of chocolate flavoring in them. LMNT also makes a chocolate flavored one. So really it's up to you. I like to add in the essential minerals, and whether it's hype or whether it's true, I feel like I'm doing something great for my body while I'm enjoying my bulletproof coffee. It's kind of like a Zen moment, maybe a little bit of dessert in a blender, if you will. And even over time, it became such a simple hack for me. I loved making it on airplanes, and I had a complete system in place for putting everything I needed in here. I'd put my little thing of butter, I'd have a little bit of cream, I would freeze it in a little container. I would bring it in my bag, my, carry-on bag. And by the time I got on the airplane ready to make it, it was defrosted and ready to go. And it worked as a great little ice pack for some of my other snacks and meals that I would bring with me on an airplane. So I would have it in here, and all I had to do, I'd put my coffee in. Sometimes I use the Four Sigmatic brand has one that's like an instant. I would put that in there, and all I had to do was order hot water, and I would be good to go. Voila, I had a satiating drink that would get me through an airplane flight without eating any of that gross, junky airplane food or airport food or any of that. Now, an interesting thing happened back in July this year when I flew into Bozeman, Montana for the steak and butter gang meetup. I had already made my bulletproof coffee on the airplane. I had enjoyed it. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon. The plane pulls up at the gate. I stood up waiting to get off the airplane. And I swear it was like the voice of God came over the loudspeakers and said, "Stop drinking coffee." I mean, I literally looked around thinking, that was weird. Like, did somebody else say that? Although it kind of sounded like my voice as the voice of God. But I looked around to see if anyone else had heard it. And spoiler alert, nobody else had, or at least they didn't seem to. Like, nobody was going, "What? Did you hear that? What?" So I took it as a sign. Honestly, I took it as a sign. And I ditched the coffee for the whole time that I was in Montana. I had already brought all of my accoutrements, if you will, of what I was going to add in. I was going shopping once I got there for my cream and my butter and, a lot of that type of stuff. I had already brought my mold-proof coffee and I was ready to go. But I thought, I'm going to take this as a sign. And interestingly, at that meetup, looking around, it was about 50-50 in the room of who actually was drinking coffee, who wasn't. And I don't have an addiction to it, so it wasn't hard for me to simply walk away from it. Now, I've been back and forth since that time. I gave it up for a few weeks, and then one day I just got an urge for it, not in the morning, not a craving, not jittery or any of that, just felt like a little bit of coffee. So I gave it a try. It felt good. A couple of days later, I had it again. It didn't feel so good. So I don't really know where I am with it. Daily coffee, I'm definitely giving that up. If nothing else, just to prove to myself, it's not an addiction. I do have the discipline and the willpower to say no, thank you. So coffee and I are kind of breaking up on a daily basis. It's not you, it's me. Well, actually, it's totally you. Let's be honest, right? Now, like I said, the wild part about it is I don't crave it. And maybe that's because I didn't grow up drinking it. I didn't start drinking coffee, bulletproof coffee, until into my 50s. So I don't get headaches, no withdrawal, no fetal position on the floor drama for me. It was just really 100% ritual, a cozy, warm mug to hold on to while I would get up in the morning and write in my journal and do my morning routine. The taste, the habit, but not the actual need for it. And let's be honest, half the people drinking coffee don't actually like coffee either. They like the sugar, the oat milk, the caramel drizzle, the whipped cream. And the fact that Starbucks knows their name when they walk in, well, coffee is just the excuse. We see the memes everywhere, but first, coffee. And I've been guilty of putting some of those out there myself, even though that has never truly described who I am. Or, I'll have people say, "Oh, my brain's just not functioning. I haven't had my, first cup of coffee yet, or I haven't had my second cup of coffee." That's the thing about it. For some people, it's truly just about the social aspect of it, the ritual, the whole process of it, that Zen feeling that you get. And for others, it is straight up addiction. So you have to know you more than anything. You have to know you. Is it more about the ritual, the process, the feel goodness of it, without the feel goodness of it being about, quelching that noise that's saying, get your coffee, or is almost cranky without the coffee. When you realize that you can just simply ask, is this a ritual I want to keep, or do I want to swap it for something else? Let's be real. And I always try to be real with myself, even though right now I literally am enjoying a cup of my bulletproof coffee. I've made it with my mold-proof coffee. I've got my grass-fed butter. I've got my organic half and half cream. And I did put in just a little bit of this Relight chocolate flavoring just to put some electrolytes in there. But the reality of it is coffee isn't really innocent. It's a plant seed, not an animal product. It leaches minerals from your body faster than a bad ex can drain your bank account. It can poke holes in your microbiome if you're pounding it daily and if you're pounding it to excess. And it definitely can stain your teeth because nothing says youthful and vibrant like beige molars, right? Hey, if you're going to drink coffee, at least choose wisely. Go organic, toxin-free, and mold-free if you can. Buy the most expensive quality, and quality doesn't necessarily equate expensive, but you have to really look at that. You don't want Folgers in a can, but you want to buy the most quality coffee that you can because coffee truly is one of the most heavily sprayed crops out there. And if you're pounding it down daily, you're basically microdosing pesticides and mold toxins with your morning smile. And Starbucks, let's be real, that's not coffee. That's burnt bean slash seed juice dressed up with pumps of syrup, whipped cream, and so on. And if you love it, that is fine. But if you're on a carnivore journey to reduce toxins and inflammation, don't sabotage yourself with that $6 sugar bomb that also kind of tastes like an ashtray. Better picks? Look at brands like Purity Coffee, Keon, Four Sigmatic Focus, which is the brand that I'm currently using, Life Boost, or even Bulletproof, the OG. I've used Bulletproof on and off regularly. It's that OG biohacker brew. Or go support a tiny local roaster in your area. Go have a conversation with them. Ask them about the molds, the toxins, where they source their beans slash seeds from. Find out all about that. Small batch usually means those fresher beans and less mold risk. Just avoid the gimmicks. Flavored coffees full of natural flavors, recipe for disaster. K-cups, that's also known as hot plastic shots of sadness with all the microplastics that burst within there when you add the hot water. Super dark roasts that are basically just burnt offerings to the coffee gods, right? That said, people who are smarter than me are on both sides. So if you follow, again, the OG carnivores or the doctors, you'll find that Dr. Ken Berry drinks coffee. Dr. Anthony Chaffee, not so much. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann does not drink coffee. Dr. Robert Kiltz, he goes on and off. He does drink coffee, and then he goes through phases where he gives up coffee. So it really does come down to you because we're asking, where does that leave us? Exactly where it should, with you making the call for you. So if you're thinking about taking a break or just giving it a try, seeing how it works for you, try what I call quiet quitting coffee. Don't make a big, huge announcement to all your friends, your family, like you're testifying before Congress or something like that. Just decide you're going to take a 3-day trial, a 1-week trial, a 30-day trial, and see how you feel. Try hot water with lemon. Try bone broth. Try herbal tea if you want something warm. Make sure that the oxalates aren't an issue and make sure it's not a flavored with, fake flavorings, natural flavorings or whatever with your herbal tea. Or just skip the cup entirely. Step out into the morning sun, have a big glass of water with some electrolytes, and that truly combined is nature's energy drink. No barista required, no tipping required. So here's the mindset shift for you and me. Don't mourn what you've given up. Don't envy caffeine addicts. Don't look longingly at their cup and wish that you were having it too. Don't start hoarding mushroom lattes like you're still in the club. Just be free. Allow yourself to be free. Remind yourself, whiter teeth, fresher breath, steady energy, no crash at 2 p.m. Basically, you turn into the person coffee promised you'd be, but without needing coffee to fake it. So, is coffee carnivore? No. But does that mean you can't have it? Also, no. The real question is, does coffee serve you? Does it serve your health, your energy, your overall goals, or is it running the show? For me, I'm choosing that occasional coffee at most because honestly, I do like the feeling of being free more than I like the frothy bean or seed water. But I do enjoy an occasional cup of it. And I'm constantly weighing in on my body and how it feels and my stomach and my digestive system, my elimination system. What is coffee telling me inside my body? That's what I'm going to listen to more than anything. So you get to decide whether you're team coffee, team no coffee, team bulletproof, But don't tell Dr. Chaffee, I'm here for it all. So tell me in the comments, are you sipping coffee while watching this or side-eyeing your mug like it just betrayed you? Again, I'm Jackie Ulmer. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment and let me know. Grab my shopping guide and other lower toxic life hacks at lowertoxiclife.com, and I'll see you on the next video. In fact, I've got one for you right here.